Honeymoon Journey in Germany, the story of Tony and Mary. Why Germany is a perfect honeymoon destination for newlyweds. Germany, a land of breathtaking landscapes, romantic castles, and rich history, has become one of Europe's most enchanting honeymoon destinations. For couples seeking both adventure and intimacy, Germany offers the perfect blend. From the fairy tale charm of Bavaria's countryside to the vibrant culture of cities like Munich and Berlin. Imagine walking hand in hand through cobblestone streets, exploring medieval villages, or sailing on crystal-clear lakes surrounded by the majestic Alps. Newlyweds can indulge in local cuisine, sip world-famous German beer, and experience the warmth of European hospitality. Whether you're fascinated by architecture, nature, or simply the joy of discovering new places together, Germany captures the essence of romance in every corner. It's not just a trip, it's a journey through time, art, and emotion. In this story, follow Tony and Mary as they embark on their honeymoon adventure across Germany. A journey filled with love, laughter, and unforgettable moments among castles, lakes, and glowing city lights. The beginning, Frankfurt, the city of modern life. After a sweet and warm wedding, Tony and Mary, a young married couple, decided to choose Germany as the destination for their honeymoon. For both of them, Germany was not only one of the most developed countries in Europe, but also a land of ancient castles, green fields, and cities where modern life blends harmoniously with history. They wanted to breathe in the fresh air, taste world-famous German beer, and together create unforgettable memories as husband and wife. The plane landed at Frankfurt International Airport in the crisp autumn air. Golden leaves lined both sides of the road, and the cool breeze carried the scent of the season. Tony held Mary's hand tightly as they took their first steps on German soil. Frankfurt appeared bustling and modern, with glass skyscrapers sparkling in the sunlight and spotless, orderly streets. Their first stop was Rummerberg Square, the historical heart of Frankfurt. The half-timbered houses with pointed roofs and wooden frames seemed straight out of a fairy tale. The bells of St. Nicholas Church echoed softly across the square, bringing a peaceful atmosphere. Sitting at a small cafe, they sipped warm cappuccino while watching people pass by and talking about their dreams for the future. In the afternoon, they walked along the main river, watching the golden sunset reflected on the water. Mary leaned her head on Tony's shoulder and whispered, "It feels like time slows down here." Tony smiled. "Maybe this is just the beginning of our happy days." The enchanted beauty of Neuschwanstein Castle. After a few days in Frankfurt, they took a train heading south to Bavaria, home of the world-famous Neuschwanstein Castle. The train journey passed through charming villages and endless green fields. Mary pressed her cheek against the window, mesmerized by the scenery. The sky was a clear blue, and in the distance, the Alps rose proudly, their peaks covered in snow. When the castle appeared on a high mountain slope, both of them were speechless. It looked like something out of a grim fairy tale. White walls, dark blue towers, and mist curling around the turrets. Tony gently held his wife's hand as they walked up the winding path toward the gate. Inside, the castle glowed with luxury, grand halls, golden chandeliers, and intricate paintings. Mary gasped in amazement. "I can't believe a place like this really exists." The tour guide explained that King Ludwig II, who built the castle, was a dreamer who wanted to create a fantasy world of his own, filled with art and music. That evening, they dined at a small restaurant at the foot of the mountain, enjoying grilled sausages, dark rye bread, and cold beer. The mountain breeze carried the scent of wildflowers, and the sound of an accordion floated in the distance. Mary smiled happily, her eyes sparkling with joy. Exploring the Bavarian countryside. The next days, Tony and Mary rented a car to explore Bavaria's countryside. The roads curved through rolling green hills and picturesque villages, each house adorned with red-tiled roofs and colorful flower boxes. They stopped at a small town called Oberammergau, famous for its wood carving and biblical murals. Mary took countless photos while Tony bought a small wooden sculpture of two doves, a symbol of eternal love. For lunch, they stopped at a family-run tavern where the friendly owner served Schweinschacks, crispy roasted pork knuckle, with mashed potatoes and sauerkraut. The hearty flavors made them smile in delight. Later that day, they arrived at Königssee Lake, one of Germany's most beautiful lakes. The surface was smooth as glass, mirroring the limestone mountains and blue sky. They rented a small wooden boat and paddled gently into the calm water. The sound of the oars dipping into the lake and the distant calls of birds filled the air. Mary rested her head on Tony's shoulder. "If I could, I'd want to live here forever," she whispered. Tony squeezed her hand and replied softly, "As long as you're with me, anywhere feels like home." Munich, the city of festivals and culture. From the peaceful countryside, they traveled to Munich, the capital of Bavaria. The city was vibrant and lively, with festive decorations, music, and laughter everywhere. By chance, they arrived during Oktoberfest, the world's largest beer festival. Tony and Mary joined the cheerful crowd, clinking glasses, listening to folk music, and laughing together. Even Mary, who rarely drank beer, couldn't resist taking a sip. The rich flavor surprised her, and she burst out laughing. They strolled through Marienplatz, Munich's main square, admiring the neo-Gothic town hall with its famous Glockenspiel clock. When the bells chimed, little bronze figurines began to dance, reenacting scenes from the city's history. Mary's eyes widened in wonder. That night, Tony took her to English Garden, a vast park in the heart of Munich. Under the moonlight, couples sat close together on the grass, talking softly. Tony and Mary spread a blanket, shared sweet pastries, and gazed at the stars. They realized that happiness was not about luxury, but about being together in such peaceful moments. Berlin, the beating heart of Germany. From Munich, they took a high-speed train to Berlin, Germany's capital, a city where history and modernity intertwine. Unlike the romantic South, Berlin was energetic, yet carried the solemn echoes of its past. Their first destination was the Brandenburg Gate, the symbol of German unity. Standing before the magnificent structure, Mary felt a cool wind brush her face, as if history itself whispered through the air. Nearby was the Holocaust Memorial, a field of gray concrete slabs in varying heights, a haunting tribute to the victims of the past. Walking among the silent blocks, they didn't speak, only listening to their footsteps echo. It was a powerful reminder of the value of peace, of life, and of the simple gift of being together. Later, they visited the remains of the Berlin Wall, now covered in colorful graffiti depicting freedom and hope. Mary posed in front of the famous mural, "The Kiss of the Leaders," and laughed. Love needs freedom, but also a little connection like this. That evening, they dined at a cozy restaurant near Alexanderplatz. The soft golden light reflected on Mary's joyful face, and Tony couldn't help but smile, realizing how lucky he was. Die Rothenburg ob der Tauber, a step into a fairy tale. On their way back, Tony and Mary stopped at Rothenburg ob der Tauber, a medieval town that looked like it had been frozen in time. Cobblestone streets wound between half-timbered houses painted in cheerful colors, with flowers spilling from every window. Walking through the old gate and along the ancient city wall, they discovered a small bakery selling the local specialty, Schneeball, a snowball-shaped pastry covered in sugar. Mary took a bite, her eyes lighting up with delight. As the sun dipped behind the rooftops, they sat at a cafe terrace, sipping hot chocolate and watching the golden light fade. The church bells chimed softly, mingling with laughter and chatter. Tony took out a small notebook and began to write. This journey showed me not only the beauty of Germany, but also the beauty of my wife. Gentle, thoughtful, and able to make every moment special. Mary read his words and leaned against him, whispering, "I'm happy to travel the world with you. Wherever we go, I just want to be by your side." Farewell, returning home with love. On their last day in Germany, Tony and Mary returned to Frankfurt. That morning, they visited Palmen Garden, the city's botanical garden. Surrounded by colorful flowers and lush greenery, they sat together on a bench, reminiscing about the places they had visited. "My favorite was Königssee," Mary said. "It was so peaceful and pure." "And mine was Munich," Tony replied. "You laughed the most there." As the plane took off, they looked out the window, watching Germany fade beneath the clouds. Though sad to leave, their hearts were full of joy. The trip was more than a honeymoon. It was the beginning of a lifelong journey of love, understanding, and companionship. Mary squeezed his hand gently. "Thank you for bringing me here." Tony smiled and replied, "Thank you for coming with me, not just to Germany, but through every chapter of life." High above the clouds, the airplane carried with it their laughter, their shared dreams, and a love